getaway? Robert Allerton Park in Monticello. The ride, a brand new 2020 Jeep Gladiator Rubicon with black leather interior and a stingray clear coat on the outside. Okay, so we know summer isn't going to be the same as the last couple of summers, but there's still plenty to do, plenty to see, plenty of great things in and around the greater Decatur area. Today we're headed to just a little bit outside of Monticello to the Robert Allerton Park. It is a fantastic piece of land, huge, over 1,500 acres of land, literally a park, a manor house, farms, and all of it started with an interesting cat by the name of Robert Allerton, who was literally an industrialist heir, an artist, an art collector, a garden designer. He was eclectic, had a lot of taste from around the world, and built this whole thing, and then decided to move to Hawaii, where he built another entire park and bequeathed this to the University of Illinois. So what is it? It's a little bit of everything. It's what some people call a personal fantasy land, neoclassical statues, Far Eastern art, huge European-style gardens, and a Georgian revival mansion that is absolutely gorgeous. So we're traveling to Allerton Park in style. I mean, a top-of-the-line Jeep from Bob Brady. We're talking about the Jeep Gladiator Rubicon, which there's 3 or 4 different kinds of Gladiators. The Rubicon is the nicest. I mean, whether you're talking about infotainment with Android or Apple CarPlay, whether you're talking about automatic climate control, drivetrain, 4-wheel drive, backup camera, park sense, rear park assist, all of the bells and whistles and the technology, and all of the rugged Jeep style that everyone loves. So if you're taking this off-road, on the highway, short trips, vacations, or just to spend the day at Allerton Park, this is the perfect ride. And it's a truck, so you got plenty of room for storage or luggage, or taking all of your family cookout gear. So back to our main guy, Robert Allerton. He left Chicago banking, left the Chicago stockyard, and comes down to central Illinois after studying art for 4 years in Munich and Paris and London. And so he returns to Illinois, settles down, and 2 years later, he begins this brick mansion. Throughout the next 47 years, Robert Allerton transformed the country house, the farms, into a central Illinois showplace estate. So one of the things that Allerton Park is known for, Lindsay, is the gardens. They have beautiful gardens, starting with herb garden. They've got the brick walled garden. They've got great gardens. The peony garden, the Chinese maze garden, the annual garden. It goes on and on and on. There's great places to walk and art to see everywhere, great vegetation, and it's just an amazing way to get out and get some exercise and see some beautiful things. So the Food Dog Garden is really cool. It was designed by John Allerton in 1932. He had been collecting these Chinese porcelain dogs, and they'd been all over his estate. And so he designed this garden to put all 22 of them and be collected all in one place and right there in this amazing thing. And they got all these beautiful white furs that are used to create the backdrop for it. So you got 22 of these porcelain dogs that he collected for years. They looked like they were made identical, like as a piece, but he collected them individually for years. The Chinese maze garden features 2 sets of hedges trimmed. You know, they trimmed those into a maze. And then the 2 large fish fountain statues were purchased by Robert Allerton in Beijing in 1930. Would have been Peking at that time. So brought it all the way back to central Illinois from China. What's cool in between some of the gardens are these little avenues or these tunnels. Looks a little like The Shining sometimes, but it's pretty cool. Yeah. Including the Avenue of the Chinese Musicians. And that's right before you get to the Sunken Garden. In 1912, this was just a space with tree-lined avenue. The statues were removed from the Lost Garden located at the south side of the park in 1977, and then that's how they created the Avenue of the Chinese Musicians.
And it leads right into one of my favorite features of this park.
The Sunken Garden.
Oh,
it's spectacular.
It really is.
You don't want to either have a picnic or play a football game. It's that big. And then, of course, it ends with the Sun Singer. Now, there's an interesting story behind this. The actual statue itself literally is over the harbor of Stockholm, Sweden. And Robert Allerton fell in love with this, and so he commissioned a reduced size copy in 1929, but the artist instead sent the 16-foot full-size thing from the harbor, and so that's why it's so big. It's a pretty amazing thing with that great 360-degree views and plenty of places for people to picnic and for your family to enjoy an afternoon. Make sure you follow the HOT25 all summer long, driven by the Bob Brady Auto Group and NowDecatur.com.